Good evening, YouTubers. It's time for our chat again. It's been a long, dreary day today with drizzle and rain. I was woken up by the rain this morning, actually, beating on the windows. You'll be glad to know. There I was, posing earlier in the week, saying, "Oh yes, I'm sunbathing on the roof," and now you're all going, "Ah!"
Get your umbrella out. Yeah.
Yes, get your con agua out. Is it? Para agua they call it in Spain.
Yeah.
Parasol is a Spanish word. I didn't realise that. I
Did
thought,
you not?
oh, no. Parasol is for sun. And what you call the one for water? Para agua. Not an umbrella. Where did umbrella come from?
I
Where
love
did
the word. I love the
umbrella
word
come from?
umbrella.
Why don't we just say para agua?
There are lots of Spanish words that we use all the time.
Probably, yeah. Doesn't it all come from Latin, darling?
Yeah, I suppose we blame it all on the Romans. Anyway, I was going to talk about spooky stuff.
Yeah, she had a ghost last night. I didn't hear it.
I'm
I played the tape back
one.
loads of times and I couldn't hear anything.
I read the comments and a lot of you heard it, and a lot of you said, well, some of you said it might have been someone walking in the street. It wasn't. It came from the back of the house. It came from my room.
Well, I didn't hear it, so I couldn't tell you where it came from.
I'm telling you, get on a desktop, get the video up, and slow it right down, and you'll hear it. It's very quick. It's like a little girl giggling. It's really weird because we have no neighbour. He died in 2019, so there's nobody there, and certainly not at that time of night.
The family does come and go, though.
There's nobody there.
And I didn't hear anything.
We don't have ghosts in this house. We did have a few weird things when we first moved in, but they just sort of settled down or whatever. So that's the first thing that I've heard in a long time.
We had smugglers the first night we were here. They were up on the roof with balaclavas on
God,
radios.
yeah.
Because they used to guide the boats in onto the beach when they were smuggling their stuff. But since the Spanish government bought Predator drones, that's all stopped.
They had squatters. They were squatters in the neighbour's house. He got rid of them finally. God, it was awful. It was awful, actually. And we'd only been in the house about...
First night we were sat up late, weren't we? We think, who were those fellas with balaclavas on the roof? The neighbours.
I was asleep in bed, and Graham woke me up and he went, "Oh my God, there are men on the roof, there are men on the roof. I think they've got guns and they're wearing balaclavas." So I came through for a cup of tea and I saw all the men with balaclavas and the radios and stuff, and they're shouting orders into it. And I said, "Well, don't be so judgmental. You know, maybe they're just like to wear balaclavas at night. It's none of our business." And then the gunfire started. And I shut the door and went, "Oh, maybe we should go back to bed." Graham was like, "Oh my God." But they moved out years ago.
Do you remember that fella that was trying to steal a wheel off that car?
Oh God.
In the street, and they come on top and they all come running out with shotguns and everything.
Yeah, but
funny.
one of the neighbours, it wasn't a Winchester like this, but it was, do you know, I can't remember what kind of a shotgun it was, but he came out with a shotgun, and our kids, the reason we moved down here really was so that they would become fluent in Spanish, which they are, but they didn't like that, you know. It was a big war, big struggle. They didn't like Spanish class, they didn't want to learn Spanish, and then this incident happened outside the house where someone was trying to steal some hubcaps off a car right outside our house. And my daughter went out, and Benji was only little, and all the neighbours came with guns. They're kind of like that in this neighbourhood. And suddenly our kids are fluent in Spanish, aren't they? Suddenly,
He went that way.
Yeah.
Describing him.
Yeah.
He went that way.
"Can I touch your gun? Can I touch your gun?
Wow.
Is that a real gun?" And like all the neighbours were like, "Oh yeah, it's a real gun, kiddo." Yeah.
Of course. Do I look like I carry a toy?
But anyway, yeah, ghosts, right? Because we, for newbies, anybody who's new to the channel, we have a resident ghost on our boat, which we'll be moving back to in the summer. Well, quite soon actually. And she's called Sandra. She's a lady who died on our boat before, I hope before we owned it. Never really got to the bottom of that mystery. But she died on our boat, and she makes her presence known quite frequently. She stomps around in the night. She's a little blonde lady, and we've all seen her, all of us. But this house, we did have a few sort of bumps in the night when we first moved in. But as I say, it all settled down, didn't it? One time I was sitting in the garden and I saw someone, I thought it was you, go through towards the back of the house where the bathrooms are. And I'd just seen you in my peripherals, and the curtain even brushed. I thought, and then like 20 minutes later I thought, why hasn't he come back? And I went and looked and you were not there. And then another time, we've got this robotic camera. We've got a whole nest of them actually, but our first one was Jennifer. And it's like an eyeball. And when we first got it, Benji had a load of mates over, and they were all daring each other to see if they could sneak past Jennifer with her not picking them up, because she can see in the dark. She's got the red eye. She can heat-seeking, infrared, all that.
It transmits to the clouds,
yeah.
you know.
And they couldn't get past her. But what I did notice when I watched the video back was every time they giggled, bubbles came off them. Loads of bubbles.
Have the little orbs and things.
Loads of... It's obviously, when people see orbs in photographs, that's coming off a human being. That's my belief, having seen
I've
that.
seen them loads of times in videos.
Yeah. But I mean, they were like... It was literally like loads of bubbles coming off him and his mates.
What is that?
I don't know. There are more things in heaven and earth, aren't there? But yeah, I wonder what that little giggle was all about last night. Whoever it was having a nice time. We haven't done any Ouija boards in the house or anything so silly. I don't like that sort of thing.
No.
I don't do things like that.
Don't tempt any fate like that.
No, certainly not. And yeah, I wonder how Sandra is. I bet she misses us in the winter, actually. I quite like her.
But you've been down the boat, though. You've been doing the roof.
I go down and, I spend a few hours.
How's your roof
down
coming on? Tell them how the roof's coming on.
Roof's coming on great.
Did you manage to gloss it all?
Yeah, managed to glass it all. Got it all done nicely. Bought some filler. Put the filler on. Took me all day. And then it rained. I went back and it hadn't washed it all away, but it bloody well might as well have done. But that's all right. So then I painted over it, and I've done a third of the roof painting it, and the weather just closed in. I got flu and I haven't been back. So God knows what I'm going to go back to. But yeah, it's solid and it's not going anywhere. I mean, if I hadn't have done it, the last few months, there would have been no roof left. I mean, it would just gone. It would just have gone. And getting loads of criticism from our son, particularly, who doesn't think I've done a very good job. So he's not invited to drinks parties on the roof.
Well, him and his mates...
No cocktails for him.
Hobnobbing with the posh people with the millionaire boats and things. And
and his
he looked down on his
jets.
nose at our boat. Oh, look at your boat. It's all tatty. No.
And private jets now. Private jets, if you please. Oh my God. I said to him, all I want to do is, if you get a private jet, Benji, can I at least sit in the private jet and can we have our picture taken? And he's like, no. So,
don't want you coming cramping my style, Mum.
no.
So send me a video. I want to put it on my channel.
Oh, I'll tell you what you should glue on the back of this. He went snowboarding about a month ago. Stick that on the end of this, arriving in style. That was quite funny.
Well, I might just include it. He hasn't sent it to me.
He sent it to me.
Did
Yeah, he said you can put it on YouTube if you want.
he? Send it to me and I'll put it on there.
It's a few weeks old now, but how the other half lives. So, yeah, that's our thing. We should do some more spooky videos. We should do some ghost stories. If you guys have got ghost stories, maybe you can put them in the comments. And then we could do a video reading out.
You could read them out like Mr. Ballon.
Or Mr. Nightmare. Anybody out there watch Mr. Nightmare? I love Mr. Nightmare. This is disturbing. It was really disturbing. There are some scary stories on that. The kids used to love that one. Mr. Ballon, I love him. I love him. He did Dr. Crippen the other day. But he didn't do him any justice.
Crippen was innocent,
Yeah.
apparently. They hanged him as well.
Terrible.
He was the first person to get caught, wasn't he? He jumped on an ocean liner and scarpered, and they were waiting for him in America because they'd telegraphed ahead or something. They nicked him, put him on the next boat back, and he was hanged, cut a long story short, and he was innocent.
And he wrote a little diary and he said, one day science will prove that I am innocent. And yeah, he was right.
They didn't even find the body.
No.
They found a pig's bladder, didn't they, wrapped in his pyjamas with his name on it.
Yeah, I know.
It clearly planted evidence, wasn't it?
Planted by somebody, God knows who. Anyway.
Turns out years later it wasn't even human.
That's the thing. I'm working on my muscles. This thing, I've got to really work on my muscles with this because it's heavier than it looks. And I can do the spin, but I've got to use two hands. I have to hold it, you know, like that, and do the spin. I'm learning at the moment to cock it with one hand, and you've got no idea how
Don't
much
smash the coffee table.
It pulls on the muscles. It really, really pulls, and down the side as well. It's really good for you.
Is that why Trevor calls her the godmother?
It's an air gun, but it's cool.
Yeah. Airsoft.
Yeah, what ghost stories
Amazing
have you
what
got?
you can do.
Do you have a resident ghost? And if so, put a really long comment, and then we can read them out, like with atmosphere, candelabras, candlelight. Because that's the other thing, the power's been going out all day.
I reckon rain gets into the electric somewhere.
Well, the other day it was one circuit, and today it's been a completely different circuit. And the circuit that's been going today controls the lighting in the back of the house. Just saying.
I think it's a ghost. Good night, and may your God go with you.
Womp womp. Arriving in style.
Bro, I hit a bump over there and it threw my balance.
Give him a thumbs up.
What?
Do a thumbs up.
Too much.